Are we not happy or feeling energetic today? I'm very excited. Are you? Come on, give me more energy. Hello. Hello. So my name is Maria Olo. I am a journalism student here at the University of Nairobi, and I will be your moderator today. That's when you clap for me. So I'd first like to begin by introducing our very able, very competent panel onto the stage. I will start with Brian Busire, who is the head of recruitment, selection, and matriculation at Teach for Kenya. So as he comes, we clap. So I want us to get used to clapping when we have important points said or important people walking to the stage. This is a practice clap. Next, I will call the next panelist, Mariana Tutu, who is the lead recruiter at McKinsey & Company. And now we will have Samuel Masharia joining us from talent. He's the talent lead and head of talent acquisition at Impact Africa. I would like to now call Joseph Muraya, the CEO at Central Careers, to join us. And from Access Bank, we have none other than Charles Githinji, the regional branch manager. Kindly join us on stage. And finally, we have Caroline Kitwa Mwangangi, the human resource business partner from Nestle. So we can do better rounds of applause. Come on, give them love and energy as we prepare to start. So as Caroline joins us on stage, I would just like to lay some groundwork for the discussion we're about to have today. Yesterday, we had a very insightful, in-depth discussion tackling our theme, Future Ready, and navigating the careers in the 21st century. And we looked into some of these existing careers. What are they? What has catalyzed this change in the industry? Innovation, ICT, technology. And now today, we will learn how to prepare ourselves for, these new changing times. And as high school is the groundwork for a majority, if not all, of our careers, academia is the backbone of all our careers. I hope that today we can gain insights as to how we can start preparing ourselves from as early as high school so that we can not just pursue jobs, but fulfilling lifelong careers. Okay? So I will turn to my panelists, and I think I will start with you, Caroline. We'll just go around with a brief introduction. Tell us more about yourself and what you do at your company.
Okay, so thank you so much, Maria, right? Good morning, everyone. We need a bit more energy. Good morning. Good morning. Sorry, I'm selling Nescafe, so you kind of have to be energetic. Good morning. Good morning. So my name is Caroline Kitwa Mwangangi. I am in the HR department for Nestle. Naomi just reminded me that people call it Nesto, so yeah, whichever you relate with. Some of our products is Nescafe, as you can already see, Milo or Milo, KitKat, etc., etc. So a number of products that we have. I did join Nestle immediately from university, so that's like 7 years ago, and I'm happy to be here with you. Cool. Thank you.
Thank you. So proceed.
Good morning, everyone, and also good morning, comrades. I think for me, when I look at the people ahead of us, these are the brains, these are people who have limitless capability. So my name is Charles Githinji. I'm the regional branch manager. I'm a career banker. I think I started around 18 years ago. I have worked for 3 banks, that is Standard Chartered, NCBA, and now Access Bank, which is a Pan-African bank coming to Kenyan market to conquer it. I think in the next few years we have acquired National Bank. So it's just a matter of time and we shall find where we are. So my work is working with this generation. I think my colleagues, mostly they're in the HR department. For me, I'm the one who integrates with the generation. So I'm privileged to be in front of you. And I think as we continue, we shall share more what aspires us and what makes us to drive the new generation to be greater in their future. Thank you.
God is good, and all the time. My name is Joseph Moraya from Central Careers. I'm the team leader there. And at Central Careers, we help students identify their inherent skills, potentials, abilities, and personalities, just as God wired them to be, as per Ephesians 2:10, which has, do you know that you are God's workmanship, created for the good purpose that God ordained beforehand? So which is this good purpose? Because we have seen that there is a mismatch between the labor market and the academia. And we said somebody must bridge the gap. So that's why we are bridging the gap, hey Charles, so that we bring you a future ready and a futuristic mindset with skill set and competencies that are for the future. So we have done this journey. We have gone 20 years ahead to determine what will be there. Then we have coming back to you to tell you, you are going to face unknown, but you have a way. Thank you so much.
Okay, my name is Mariana Tutu. I'm an alumni of the University of Nairobi. I think it's exciting to be back after several years and in a different capacity. By academic training, I studied computer science, and right now I'm in HR. I can see the looks on your faces. Yes, it's been a journey of discovery and just following my passions, and maybe in a different forum I'll be able to speak about that. Currently, I'm working at McKinsey & Company, leading the recruitment efforts, and I'm just passionate about the talent space. So even at a personal capacity, I'm also a career mentor and coach, and excited to share some wisdom with you all today.
All right. Good morning once again. Bosire Brian is my name. I'm also an alumni from this institution. Graduated way back in 2019, 20th December. I joined in 14th September 2014. As well, I studied nursing, but now I'm in the HR space. I work for a non-profit called Teach for Kenya. It's unfortunate that where you are born determines the kind of education you receive and the kind of opportunities that you access. So at Teach for Kenya, we try and bridge the gap in the inequalities that children, especially from the low income, experience by giving them access to quality education, regardless of their social economic background. I'll be more than happy to share my experience to inspire you so that you can be better versions of yourself. Thank you.
So thank you so much for the lovely introductions, and I think all of your positions are very relevant to this conversation today. That being said, looking into some of the changing careers and the evolving and emerging careers, I think it is safe to say there are certain skills and competencies that are required for you to conform to these careers. And as HR professionals, CEOs in your various capacities, kindly share with us, this will be a general question for the whole panel, some of these skills and competencies you've seen that are demanded, especially those that our high school students can start applying as early as now and start practicing. So I think I'll start with you, Brian, and then we can move it across.
Thank you. What are some of the things that I feel you need so that you can thrive in the 21st century? One, critical thinking skills. As a recruiter, I'm looking for someone who will give me solutions rather than telling me the problem. The problems everyone knows. Everyone knows you're experiencing problems in the education space. Everyone knows you're experiencing challenges like poverty, unemployment, systemic challenge, and the list can go on and on. But the question is, how are you using the resources that are within your means so that you can become a solution creator? So it's more of not even thinking outside the box, but thinking as if the box never existed in the first place. The other thing is we are quickly moving into an age where technology really, AI is really becoming the in thing. Skills will really be there. But 50% of success in any career is dependent upon something we call emotional intelligence. So things around empathy. How do you relate with your friends? How do you know what you are able to do and not something that you are not able to do? How are you developing your EQ? 25% of, if you are to look at, for you to succeed in any role, you need, first of all, 25% IQ, that is your natural born intelligence. You need 25% of technical skills. These are skills, like for example, if I need to survive as a HR, I need skills in HR. I need to know how to filter out CVs. I need to know how to filter out competencies based on what my company is looking for. That is 25%. But 50% is on EQ. What do I mean by this? Are you self-aware about what are your strengths? What are your self-limiting beliefs? What are these words that you keep telling yourself? Are you good enough? Are you not good enough? What is your why? And also the other aspect is, how do you, social relations, how do you relate with others in the room? How do you create social skills that enable you to thrive in the class, not in the classroom, but in the workspace and in whichever space that you are in? Are you working on these soft skills? I think if you build on those, and in addition to what my panelists will say, I think you'll be more than ready for the 21st century skills.
Wow. I endorse everything you've said, and I'll not repeat.
I feel like we're in the same mind. I think it's as a summation of what my colleagues have said is how do you identify problems and utilize them as opportunities. And so it's different and faceted way of looking into everything that you do and looking at providing a solution that will solve the real problem and will create an impact. Are you agile enough? Do you have the perseverance to kind of tackle the things that come? And I think that's one of the skills. So I think the other skill that I'm thinking about is communication, because by the end of the day, if you are so good in so many things and you cannot package yourself, you cannot communicate it out, then you'll never get the opportunity, or the opportunity will never come to you because you haven't set your professional identity and you can't like communicate what you feel you can share as part of changing the world.
I think everything is getting covered on very well, but from our research, we have the 15 most in-demand skills by employers. And if these screens are working, I would want to demonstrate so that we can cover those students who are visual, because there are those who are audio and visual. So we have those competencies that we are listing that are very key to every student or every graduate or everyone who is in a profession. Why are these 15 most in-demand skills and which I imagine? It's because something like number 15, persuasion and negotiation skills. If you are thinking that you'd be in a position where you need to influence others, be it in entrepreneurial or be it in a position of even HR, to convince me to come to that company, you'll need that negotiation skills. Even in your salary, when you're negotiating, how much should we pay you? If you're not good in negotiation skills, you'll just get what we call the floor level. Unfortunately, my HRs are here. So we also have like the troubleshooting. Are you able to troubleshoot these problems that are coming up and prepare the company so that they are up in hand, and you can be copying that student for you, and you can picture at least 3 or 4 which you are supposed to have internally according to your career. And despite everything, we say that it's all about the 3 C's. We have the character, competence, and connection. Today now you are here because you want to be connected with the industry. But your character will determine how far you can go. And again, your competencies. Which are these competencies that we are even saying that we have CBC? That's a competence-based curriculum. It's CBC now is coming to wake up how we are doing things. We do not want to reward cognitive abilities. We want to reward skills. So I would say that even monitoring and control. Are you able to monitor and control the like the social medias, or we'll hire you and then 75% you are on TikTok, 25% is only the time that you are giving the employer. When you are using that gadget at home, are you able to minimize that time? Then we have ideation and innovation. Are you able to come up with ideas and innovate? And I don't know which college teaches people to be workers instead of thinkers. So we want thinkers who can create opportunities so that we remove this consumerism mentality that you have to be employed. Then who will employ your kids if all of us get employed and we fill up the spaces that are there? So without taking much time, you can copy those ones, then you can see which one relates to you. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, my colleagues. I think they have covered most of the skills. But for me, I'll also still add on what we call the soft skills, which are very critical on whatever we do. And these are soft life skills. And one of them, I normally say, there should be consistency. And the skill in itself, I know most of us don't have. You want to do something, maybe you're a high school student, you are waking up at 5, but you're not consistent on what you are doing. You are not consistent on the purpose that you want to deliver. So it's a skill that enables you, whatever you purpose, when you are thinking, when there is no box, when you are thinking on how do you package yourself, are you consistently pursuing what you are purposed to do? So for me, consistency, it's a soft skill. It's part of emotional intelligence that my colleague highlighted, but it brings the result. You can start off very well, but if you are not consistent on whatever good thing or the good reward that you want to push for, you'll never finish the race. And that one I normally feel. Underlying all the other skills, you may have good communication, but you are not consistency on what you do. It affects your character. So it's among what my colleagues have highlighted, but also feel whatever you need, use the soft skills to be consistency on what you purpose to do. Thank you.
Well, coming at the end, I'm tempted to say all the above because everything you said is extremely relevant to the group we have here. When you're talking Bosire and I think also Mariana, I kept on thinking about adaptability, being able to be agile enough. There's a reason you pivoted from computer science and you said nursing, I think, and now you've moved into HR. So that's an additional skill that I think is very important. But again, as I said, all the above.
Thank you so much. A round of applause for our panelists. So Caroline, you've led me into a very interesting conversation. You talked about how students can become adaptable, and most of the times we make very stringent, fixed plans in our careers, and not saying that they are wrong, but how then can we better these career plans to make them adequate enough to facilitate maybe change of passions, change of interests, and even change of industries. So take us through how maybe you feel like a proper career plan can help us remain adaptable but still current in the job market today.
All right. So thanks for that question, Maria. I believe first, you need to think about the long-term goal. So what is your aim in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years? And I know initially, whatever plan it is or whatever goal it is, you need to write it down. Then from that, you develop what we call short-term goals, right? And use the short-term goals as milestones in the eventual, building up into your long-term goals. But again, going back to Mariana and Bosire's careers, it's okay to pivot. Because you can, let's say in the next 20 years, you see yourself being, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a good goal. But anyway, being a doctor in whatever, hospital. But then in year 5, you realize that you're no longer interested in that, and that's perfectly fine. So the trick to that is consistently reevaluating your goals, just to make sure that they are actually relevant. Yeah, because you do not want to have goals that are no longer relevant to you. So if your consistency is looking at them at the end of the week, if for you consistency is looking at them at the end of the month or after 2 months, whatever works for you, at the end of the day, planning for your career has to be extremely personal. Yeah. Lastly, you can also get a mentor, because then it's good to get someone either within that particular career path or someone who's done something completely different to walk that journey with you. And they can be able to tell you where they see some errors that you may be making, or where you can be able to change on something, and they hold you accountable. So they are sort of like your accountability partner. And then in that, then at least you have a sort of plan. And as I said, and I'll repeat again, even if you do pivot in the course of your plan, so if it's 10, 15 years, and in the middle of that you pivot, it's perfectly okay, but just make sure that you go back, reevaluate your plans, just to make it realistic.
Thank you. A round of applause, please. So you've got me thinking a lot to when I was back when I was in high school, and I was told there were all these choices, but I also felt very limited by the kind of subjects I was doing in school and what I was seeing out there. And maybe I will throw this question to both Joseph and Samuel. What do you feel is the role of mentorship and coaching? And specifically for you, Joseph, how can academia partner with industry partners who have specialized in facilitating some of these coaching sessions, and that helps students navigate their careers, especially given the fact that for many of these students here today, they're not yet in the CBC system. So the system is still a bit rigid and not really accommodating the limitless careers that are now existing. So maybe we'll start with who's ready? Okay.
Thank you so much. Like I said, we want to avoid this guesswork, because anything out of guesswork is as disastrous as the first guess itself. Personally, I was in that 844, where the guesswork was made that I should become this because I attained this grade. And I came to KU to do the same guesswork. I graduated at 25, and that's why they say that some people die at 25 and you are not buried until you are 70. Because you graduate with the wrong course, you join the wrong employer, you start earning the wrong money, you start having the wrong friends, you start hating your boss, you even get the wrong wife, wrong kids, the situation goes on. I know it sounds funny, but you meet your partners mostly at workspace or at the university. So how are we doing this? For us, we are using psychometric tests or assessment, and this is what the recruiters use to gauge whether you are fit for that job. So why don't we take it to that level from grade 3 up to JSS? Like now we are dealing from JSS all the way to high schools, all the way to college students, to help them know which are these 4 careers that KUSIPs will want you to fill up. Because what happens, students have 1 career, but they end up filling 3 careers out of guesswork. And guess what? The guesswork number 4 is what KUSIPs will give you. Are you together, students? So do not second guess your career. We can be able to navigate this because the assessment, the career interest assessment, is able to identify from how you answer the questions, the artificial intelligence behind it, the probability, and then it selects the careers that fits your personality, your interest, and more so your skills. So that means you can never fail in your career. And there is no student who does not have a career. Everybody has a career. It all determines where you start. You can start at certificate level. You go to advanced certificate, diploma, higher diploma, degree. If the grade you did not get the grade to go to the university. Let me shock you. Every student can be able to do 2 or 3 careers comfortably. So when students keep on changing that today I want to be an engineer, tomorrow I want to be a doctor, it's very true. It's because they are conflicting passions, professions, missions, and vocations inside that student. So we want to bring out that and tell you, if you want to join law, these are the careers that you can do very well in law. If you want to join the School of Humanities and Economics, these are the careers you can do, engineering, science, and the new careers that are coming up under the sports and creative arts. By the way, those are the most earning people in this world. Kipchoge Keino, he's in that class. Who else? The footballers, eh? You know them. They're in that class of sports and creative arts. But what about here when you come up here in Kenya? If you choose your career to be a footballer, what happens at home? No parents want their children to keep on praying, yeah? But when we see the man in 9 million per week, we wish that was my son. But all of us want, and we cannot fit in the offices. So we have to agree that if your passion and your interests and your personalities pushes you to this career, please do not believe that engineers and doctors are the only happy people in the world. So visit our booth. We are able to do that. It takes less than 15 minutes, but what happens after that is the intervention, interpretation, and now exposing you to how you can be able to do a degree, a diploma as you continue with your degree, and a certificate as you continue with your degree. So you graduate with three things which are now branded. Because we are in the era, and my HR can correct me, we are in the era of career branding. We are not in the era of career combination. Because like myself, I did BCom. Then I combined with CPA. So if I don't get a job in accounting department, it means I'm jobless. But that does not mean that I'm useless. So let me stop there because I know my colleague here has some points, but we have more to share. Oh, the media are telling me they have something which happens when you choose a career based on survival basis. That whom do you know at Equity? Please do banking because I know somebody at Equity who can connect you. What if they die when you're in 40 years?
Yes. You never know, so me. Hey! One! Come on, young.
So that's a local engineer on survival basis. I don't know what will happen to him later on. So we do not want you students to tie yourself in a career that can kill you. Because mental health will creep in, depression will follow. What happens? You are dying inside. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that. I think no matter how good we are, and even for the most successful people, there's always someone who is ahead of them or was ahead of them. And so this is why mentorship and coaching is very important, because you're able to look at, I want to be 10 steps ahead in life 5 years from now, but how do I get there? So the first thing is you get to identify where do I need to be and what do I need to do. And then you can start looking for someone who is already there, and don't go looking for someone who is way ahead, because at the end of the day, the expectations will not match and you'll be frustrated because they'll give you like their experience at their current level and you feel like, I can't do that. And it's simply because you chose the wrong mentor. Not that they are wrong in terms of what they're giving you, it's because they are at a different level that you cannot take the material for them and you make it of use for your daily. So that's one thing, identifying the right mentor at the right level. And it's possible to have more than one mentor, and it's just a matter of how many things do I need to do, or my own goal is one, but to get there, I will need A, B, C, D. So you can get different mentors, coaches who can help you and can work with you, and they'll make your journey times 2 easier if you're doing it alone. So at the end of the mentorship sessions, again, make sure that you're able to evaluate and ask for feedback, because it's very important. It's the same way in school. At the end of the session, the teacher will ask, do you have questions? It's an opportunity for you to clear any doubts that you had and ensure that by the end of it, you get to benefit. So why do you need a mentor in the first case? I'll say it in 3 categories. So you need a mentor for skill development. You want to be a software developer, to say you are still in high school. you are yet to even identify the university or even the program that you'll take, but how can you start doing it right now? If you sit with the person who has already done it, they'll be able to help you and start developing your skills at that point, because people will think that software engineering, for example, is all about writing the codes, but everything behind it is the problem that you're solving. And so those sessions will help you to start knowing that to be a good software developer, I need to think about a problem, I need to structure it, and before even rushing to even doing the actual work. And so the other thing why mentorship is very important is because it's your area in which will support you in terms of networking opportunities. Let's say you are done with a campus and you are also looking at exploring opportunities in the market. The best person to help you navigate it again is your mentor, because he or she has already been in the market, knows a few companies here and there, knows a few people here and there, and they'll definitely be able to help you and connect you with the right opportunities. So I remember back in the beginning of my career, I thought like, my HR, I know how to write a very good CV and I can package myself. Not until I found a mentor who was like, how you are HR, and like basically there's still a lot to learn. And so it challenged me, and it kept me to a point that you always have to look at people who are ahead of you, and that will help you to navigate. So the current organization that I work with, Impact Africa Network, because we work with young minds, what we have done is we have created a global mentor network that will enable people to be able to interact with tech billionaires that we have in the ecosystem. Those have launched successful startups in the Silicon and the Bay areas. And again, at organization level, we help and ensure that you have the right mentor who can work with you, and whether it's your peer or even if it's someone who is external who is working with you. So don't ignore seeking a mentor at even the earliest stage of your life, because they'll always help you to navigate in areas where you might feel it's a bit challenging, but because they have done it before, it makes it more easier. Thank you.
Thank you. A round of applause. So Samuel has touched on some of the steps students can take in acquiring some of these soft skills. I want to bring it back to Brian and bring it back to academia, and at this level of education, how do you feel both our students, the institutions in which they learn, and even their teachers who are right here with us can integrate into these real world applications and help them, be with the times with these and learn these soft and technical skills in this 21st century? How do you feel these students at this level and their teachers can work together and apply these skills in the real world and work towards learning them? Sorry.
Allow me to answer based on how I understood the question. I think especially for high schoolers, we are in the age of discovery. So don't limit yourself to, I just want to be one thing. Maybe my advice to us is get as much exposure as possible. I remember for me when I was in high school, the goal was to go to UN. And then when we reach there, that's when we discover the courses. As in, the goal was work hard. In our school, we used to have something called Room 1. Room 1 was the library. It used to accommodate like 75 students. So we were so sure if you were in Room 1, you will make it to university. And then after that, because we were in Nyanza, the goal was to go to the city, regardless. I think that limited the amount of opportunities we had. It was an honor to come to UN though. But then I think one of the things I lacked back then was exposure. I only used to know one uncle of mine from the University of Nairobi, and he used to do social sciences course. So that was the kind of exposure that I had. My limit in terms of even courses that exist were limited to his course and another uncle of mine who did horticulture. And of course, if you get an A, you join medical school. I think those are the limiting. So I think for high schoolers and teachers is to empower students that there is no course that is useless. You know, we are brought up in a century where growing up you only want to be engineer, doctor, what is the other course? I think pilot. These other courses, you know, they are there offered by KUSUPs, but then not so many people want to pursue them. It's sad. Part of the report that was released by Kenya University Council of Placements showed that out of the over 935 people who start for KCSE, 600,000 did not express interest in any course, while the institutions had ability to accommodate over 1 million. It doesn't necessarily mean if you do not get it to engineering school, there is nothing you can do with your life. My advice to you is use what you have to get to what you want to be. What is the thing that is within your reach? If you qualified for diploma, do it. You can always top up those skills. You can upgrade to that engineering course. If you missed this particular course, don't be somber and tired and give up in life like the life has come to an end. As my colleague had said, these days actually things have changed. Doctors are on strike because they're not paid. People in IT are now making more money compared to doctors. You know, growing up, you used to know doctors are the people, they are the ones who make more money. But the world is totally changing, and my advice to you is whatever course you do, so long as you do it excellently, someone will pay you for your service. Just be the best in whatever it is that your hand finds to do. And our teachers encourage our students. Personally, I've never been number one in life. I've never. Does that mean I'm a failure? Not everyone can be number one. Those other numbers also have to have people. And me, I was one of those people with those other numbers. And here I am talking to you, giving you advice. You see? So be content with, of course, that is not to critique us being our best or achieving the very best version of ourselves, but also sometimes to say it is okay. We can't all be gifted in the same area. Just be content with whatever thing you have, so long as the goal in life is not to be better than your friend, but your goal in life should be, am I better than the person I was yesterday? If you keep improving on the person you are, trust you me, you will become better at anything in this world.
A round of applause. So I want us now to touch on two very potent buzzwords that can never miss when we're talking about careers. And I'm going to direct these two buzzwords to Charles and Mariana. So Charles, I want you to tell these young high school students about personal branding and how they can start employing it as early as now, whether it's on their social media or just how they carry themselves. And Mariana, for you, it will be networking and building relationships. We use this word a lot, networking. What does it really mean? And for these students at this stage, how can they start applying this to build their careers?
Okay, thank you. Maybe I can start off. I think for me, I normally say personal branding is very key. It doesn't matter the age you are in, whether you are young or you are old, because this is what sells whom you are. And where do you start? Why do you need personal branding? Personal branding enables you to give you the opportunities. It attracts you to the right opportunities. It enables you to navigate the various challenges of life, but it enables you to have a career path. Because if you don't have the right personal branding, what will happen is chances are high you'll get to to the photo that we have seen, because you'll be navigating a career that you're never meant to be. You'll be going to the places that you are never meant to be. You'll have other issues like mental challenges on it, but that comes on it. What is personal branding? When we mean from the basic aspect of it is, who am I? And where do I start for my personal branding? Is first to do a retrospect of yourself. Just understand, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Sometimes you won't just go to the strength aspect, but the weaknesses play a major role. But those ones, by understanding where you lie yourself, by retrogressive, now you can use the various avenues that can enable you to have personal branding. For you to start on personal branding, currently, I think the generation we are in, We are in a tech survey generation. Most of the times we want to be in the social media. We are looking about who am I? And as a result of it, you end up now looking at people who are not in the right path, and you try to brand yourself to them. But who are you? So the first thing that I normally tell, even if you are a student, just understand you are well. And by understanding yourself, there are several three aspects that I normally look at. One of them is the emotional aspect of whom you are. How do you feel that I, Charles, this is how I am? Then secondly, you normally look about what skills do I have and what is my strength on the skills that I have. I am a footballer. I have that skill that maybe is God-given. But how do I brand myself so that that skill can be of benefit to you? Now, in addition to that, I normally tell people there is a spiritual brand, which people tend also to forget. And in it, it normally disorganizes the disconnect between your human as well as your body and how you react on the environments. So when you are talking about your personal branding, the key thing, first understand whom you are. Once you have understood whom you are, there are various aspects that can enable you to bring the best brand in you. One of them is understanding your skill, so you can have a mentor whom you can interact with. They'll guide you to get you the right way. The second one I normally also say, have feedback. You have your colleagues, you have your teachers, you have your parents, you have the community that we live in. Let them give the feedback. And some of them will identify you and tell you this it is. The third one is, brand will always come by investing in terms of the knowledge, the skills that you acquire, and in terms of your thinking. So invest on it. It will not come out of it. And by that, you'll be able to understand, how do I differentiate myself? Now, how do you start with small branding with the new age? Most of you I know you are in social media. Don't take your time to post and visit sites that doesn't add value to yourself. Try to create a brand that you are able to visit, sites that enable you to give you a lot of what is right in your mind. As well, in terms of skills, try to take that time to improve on your skills. You are creating your brand. I normally also say branding also comes with other soft skills. Are you a person who is ready to help? Are you a person who is able to volunteer? And are you a person who is able to do a networking? And out of that, you'll be creating a brand by interacting with who is who in the market, who is who as your colleague, who is the best. And what you'll be positioning yourself is, you'll be aligned in a way that when we talk about Charles, you can sell and you say, this is whom I am. So understand your skills, understand whom you are, and also try to make sure that you have the mentors that we talked about. You are keen on your social skills. Currently, there are things like we call LinkedIn. I know most of you may have. Even if not that, you have your Facebook account. How do you brand it? What are the events that you post in it? What are the events that you are engaged with it? Because your brand normally pushes you to the opportunity. And maybe your brand may push you to an engineer or a career that you don't deserve. So do a retrogressive, understand yourself, and now out of that, you can create a step-by-step on whom you are. Thank you.
I love that he went fast because as you network, you need to be a brand. You need to bring the best version of yourself. And so once you do that packaging, then you'd be ready to go out there. So as I talk about networking, I think you've heard this common phrase that your network is your net worth. And that just translates to the value of you as an individual. And those words did not mean much to me years back when I used to hear that slogan, but now I can actually see it work out in many ways, both personally and with people who I have encouraged to really build their networks. Now, how do you go about this? First, you need to understand, where do you want to go? Where do you want to work? Who do you want to be? And you do not need to reinvent the wheel. You just need to do your research and do your work and see who it is who has done something similar to what you're passionate about, and identify these individuals. So if you want to go into employment, this would look as simple as, which industry do you want to work in? Which are the companies within this industry that excite you? Or maybe if you don't even know about them, just do your research online, discover which industries are in the consumer space, in the tech space, in the manufacturing space. Just read about them. Understand their culture, understand the initiatives. A lot of companies nowadays brand themselves online, talk about things they're doing in CSR, talk about their culture and all that. So from that, at least you'll have an idea on what excites you, and then that will be the goal, or that will be the objective of some of the companies that you want to approach or want to interview for or engage and network with people in. And if it's also in the business side of things, I encourage people who are entrepreneurial to also, set up their own organization, set up their own businesses. So we also have examples of people who are doing very well in the business space. We have a lot of young entrepreneurs online. We have a lot of social media influencers who have made it. Find the people you look up to. Find the people who have succeeded in what they've succeeded in and learn their ways. So number 2 is you need to now also study and learn their ways. And you need to kind of really understand their journey and see how you can reach them, okay? Because in the end, there's a lot you can learn from what you research on online, but also there's a lot that you can benefit from when you have an opportunity to be in the spaces where you speak with these individuals. And now this is where you need to go out there and leverage both the online platforms and the in-person forums to network. Now, we have like the professional platforms like LinkedIn. It's as simple as dropping someone a message. And even as I look at my LinkedIn right now, I'll confess I have like almost over 100 messages. It's always hard to get through all of them. But as and when I do, there are only certain ones that I respond to. Why? Because of how the person reaches out, because of how they've branded themselves. You can't just send me a message and say, hi. It's not a live chat platform and then you wait for me to respond, hi, then you get to your point. Now, this is also going to incline into my last point, which is, how do you package yourself? You need to be ready. In the instance where you're connecting with a person on LinkedIn, or you're attending a social gathering, or you're going for an alumni event in your university, or you're part of a professional membership association like SEC and they have a gathering, the places where you'll meet these people that you were researching on because you'll want to be in those spaces where they are, you will need to make sure you impress them from the 2 minutes or the 5 minutes or the one message you'll send them, so that they give you the opportunity now to explore a conversation further. And that's the one part I'm seeing a lot of people are not doing right, which is related once again to the personal branding, because you need to be able to quickly tell someone who you are and not the relevant details, like where you were born, the size of your family. I mean, all that can come later, but who you are in terms of the skills you possess. What are you passionate about? And then also be clear on the ask. I have been at our career booth stand since yesterday and today. I'm yet to find one person who has impressed me in how they're able to objectively ask what they really want to find out. And, some people will even easily come in and say, hi, I've come. Okay, yeah, I can see you're here, so have you looked at the flyer? Have you read something? Is there something I can clarify? And I end up educating you about everything till I really get to know what it is that is missing from what we've shared that you'd like to know more about. So you really need to make sure that that branding also translates to text. I don't know if there's a world where we'll not be looking at CVs anymore, and I don't know what it look like. Maybe it'll also be another form of digital CVs, but it's a small mistake. So the ways you also position yourself even on paper, that sometimes makes people miss a lot of opportunities. And unfortunately, the world we're in, for as long as a CV comes before the actual interview, someone will need to get impressed by what you put on paper before they actually meet you in person. So to summarize, have a goal, have people you look up to, have a strategy, leverage the social networking platforms that you can get to both in person or online, and then be ready. Be ready. So do the work, and when the opportunity comes, leave a very positive mark.
Thank Thank you. A round of applause for our panelists. So I was just wondering, out of curiosity, how many of us here have an Instagram account? You guys are not on Instagram? Your teachers are not watching, just tell us. Okay, a Facebook account? Oh God, a Twitter account? A LinkedIn account? A YouTube channel? TikTok? Oh, TikTok. Okay, there are some hands at TikTok. So all of these encompass your personal brand, okay? So I want us to divert back to something we had mentioned a little bit earlier, and you had talked, Samuel had talked on problem solving, just a little bit. So I want us to expand a little bit more, especially in this world that is constantly, I'd like to say, turmoil, whether it's climate change and it's COVID. How can students, especially at this level, how can they start working towards making problem solving an enterprise or a business, or making it a convertible skill?
Thank you for that. So I don't know if you have interacted with most people who are in their lives, let's say after campus, or they're really struggling, and you hear them saying adulthood is a scam. I would say it's just a matter of how soon did you start solving the challenges that are around you, because the world is about the challenges that are there, and the challenges always present as opportunities. So we have climatic issues, we have issues even to do with urbanization, and even recently we were able to see the flooding and the like. And so these are real issues that we can start addressing them as early as now. And it's part of solving the problems that exist in the ecosystem. I think there are more than 19 major problems that currently every country, every city is trying to kind of solve. And it takes a few to just stand up and work out on a model. So I'll give an example. So one of the portfolio companies in which I support is called Kinetic, and it's an EdTech program, and it's working with students in their high school, and what basically they are doing is they're activating future entrepreneurs. And through that, the students get to work on case studies, they work on projects, either as group, as individuals, and they're able to look at the problems that we have within the society, and they're able to provide solutions. They're able to interact with founders, they're able to interact with different people who support them in terms of building the solutions, and eventually they get to a panelist and they pitch the ideas. And interesting, a 13-year-old kid looked at how her mother was doing her chamas, and the worst thing was, it was just like they were not getting any interest out of it, and asked mom, how can I make it better? And so the young kid created a product that will enable the people in Chama to still contribute digitally, and also look at the social factor of it. So that's just one case in which this student looked at chamas are important, and the most important thing out of it is the social aspect that my parents need, besides them creating a savings platform for them. So, but now let's come to other issues that we have, let's say in the climate and the environment sector. So how can we incorporate our education systems to ensure that we are able to create that mindset and skills and attitudes towards solving these problems? I think it all starts with awareness. So what kind of awareness are we creating in schools in terms of existence of these problems? And then it goes to how the students understand these problems, and eventually how they will develop attitude and skills that will enable them to look at these challenges and issues that we are facing in the global ecosystem, and to be able to support or create an initiative that will be able to support in terms of the same. So I think I'll stop at that point.
Thank you. So I want us to take another slight tangent into mental health and mental well-being. And I want to direct this to Charles and Caroline. In your various capacities, because we also have university students here, how do you support your employees, or what kinds of systems can we start implementing as early as now to maintain that work-life balance? We also have students who work as well and they study, and we all know mental health is a big conundrum today in the world today. So maybe speak more on what you guys do in your capacities and word of advice for all who are gathered here today.
All right. Yeah, long dramatic pause. I was trying to think of something. So, work-life balance. Because you did mention that, then you talked a bit about well-being. And as I think about it, even if I was to ask you, Maria or Muraya, what is your definition of work-life balance? You'll probably give me your version of what you think work-life balance is. You'll give me yours. And when I was reading a bit more about it, I realized, and even in the HR space, you realize that work-life balance means something different to everyone. There's no one definition of what work-life balance is. Yeah? The typical definition is work-life, literally, I don't know, I'm trying to mimic a scale, right? And on one hand you have work, and on the other hand you have life, right? But then there's an article I actually read in the Forbes, and they mentioned that it comes off very harsh until you read the content, but it says that work-life balance does not exist. Not because it's trying to say that let's be workaholics or let's ignore work. And in this context, I'll also bring in school. So we'll talk about school/work-life balance, right? But it's talking about more of the fact that it's integrated. What I mean by that is it's trying to separate career, or rather it's trying to tell you you cannot separate your career from your life. They sort of integrate at the end of the day. Right? You cannot separate your school from your personal life because they integrate at the end of the day. Because your career is not a bubble that you're going to leave or you're going to focus on between 8 to 5. Then you put it to the side, close that door, and move to your personal life. That's what we, hope it would be, but that's not the reality. And that's why now you'll notice many people talking about work-life integration. Yeah? So where you sort of integrate the two. So if I was to use an example now, Maria, you said, I think you're doing journalism, right? If you decided to join the Rotary Club in your personal capacity, not even during school hours, but it is going to benefit you in your work, sense. Is that work or is it life? If you try to balance, so just think about it, but yeah. So it's the same question I'm posing to you in the sense that there needs to be some form of harmony. Other people actually call it work-life harmony. So some form of harmony, some form of integration, so that they're not two different bubbles. So when you talk about wellness and well-being, and right now many people are talking about mental health. Yeah, it's a buzzword. And I'm saying it's a buzzword because people say it, but are we really alive to that fact? In Kenya, can we say that we are alive to the fact that mental health is quite important, and what are we doing about it? So as an organization, I'll speak because I know what we're doing in Nestle. So as an organization, we have partnered with some organizations that sort of support us in that element. Because we can talk to people, but is talking to people sufficient? Then we are normalizing the fact that it's okay to not be okay. Yeah? So it's okay to not be okay. You can be seated here, I can be looking okay, but deep down, I'm struggling. So it's fine to not be okay. And then we give them the opportunity, through other organizations, and people who are specialists, to actually talk to them. And sometimes people think that, yeah, maybe if I'm seen talking to a certain person, then I have a problem. And then HR will be busy looking at me and thinking, I'm a risk. That's not what we're trying to do. So that's why we even anonymized it. You can even do it on Teams, on WhatsApp, whatever platform that you have. And that's the beauty of the 21st century, because we've moved away from the traditional sense of thinking about wellness into the realistic sense of wellness today. So that's the thought process I have at the moment.
Okay, thank you, Maria. Thank you, my colleague. I think she has talked more on wellness and also on mental health. Maybe I'll just override on what she has said, because she has said a very critical thing. Why do we need mental health in the first place? Which cuts across for every individual, whether you're in secondary school, whether you're in university, or whether you are working. For a human being to be productive, they must have stability in their life. And that stability is normally driven by what is the state of your mental health? How stable are you? And this one is because of other factors. I hope I'll not betray my physics teacher. He used to tell us, you cannot destroy energy. Energy is neither destroyed, neither created. It's just a motion of it. The same thing happens to a human being. You have the innate strength in you. And there are so many distractions that will come in it. And that's why for you to be very productive, you must, one, wellness. You must be well full in terms of your thinking, in terms of your spiritual, as well as in terms of the skills that you have. So when we talk about the mental health, why I feel I'm normally passionate on it, because many dreams, many careers have been destroyed by that pressure, whereby they have various things are coming up, but you feel that you cannot identify yourself. A very good talent, you realize they are heading to drugs because they can not cope up with pressure. If at all you are a student, you realize maybe simple things like financial. I work in a financial sector, so I know financial health is very important. You are a student, maybe you haven't come from a well-up background, and most of the times you are struggling for the basic needs. So you end up borrowing maybe your colleague. And what do? They try to pressurize you. They try to pull you to bad habits. So what does it do? It affects your mental health. And what will happen is your potential will not be realized in school. You'll start now to be thinking, how will I pay back this money? How will I steal? How will I? So you end up destroying a very important part of your energy inside you by diversion on that. So when we talk about the mental health, there are various basic things that I normally say. One of them is what she has said. It's good to accept it's not okay. And by doing so, now what do? You have to look about who can you confide to, as someone who will see you in the best interest of whom you are. Like if at all you are a student in university, most of the times we realize we are comrades. And most of the times, sometimes, the comrades are good for the times of good times. But you don't have. But you have great mentors like Naomi and the others who can mentor you and tell you, it's not okay, but this is how you navigate. You have maybe you have lost, you have failed in your certain grade. How can you improve it? So in terms of mental health, for you to navigate around it, one of them is, also be getting feedback from your colleagues and your partners who will tell you how to go about it. The people who also be open to accept, to go to the counselors. They create a very core thing. Also go to the mentors of the career that you want, because a mix-up of career also ends up making issues of mental health to come by. Financial health, visit. I can request you to visit our booth and understand, even if you are not investing in a bank, what are the financial implications of how can you save? How can you have a budget? How can you align your skills for the future? So the basic skills are very important because they enable you to understand that these pressures, one, they are okay, and two, how do you navigate around them? But more so, always accept what she has said is not okay, even if it's okay. And also, your health is very important. What you eat, I know most of us, we tend to assume, most of us, the current level, we are consuming a lot of sugars. The diet that you take is very critical because even your normal health, if it deteriorates, it will create a lot of mental health. Two, as I told you, be introvert. Look back to yourself. Who are you? And by understanding your brand, you'll now be able to run away from some pressures. It's okay that he may have the beards, I may not have. I'm just using it for an example. But someone else, it can create a pressure, and they feel they are not good enough. So those simple things, just understand whom you are. And out of that, you can navigate the issue of mental health. For us as an organization, we have, like what you have said, most of the times, we have appreciated what it is. We are giving mentorship so that people are aligned to the careers that they have. We know everyone has personal issues, family issues, maybe mothers and so on. So we try to accommodate them at the place of work. The other one is flexible working time, depending on where you are, whereby we try to give you a work-life balance. We also extend things like gym, membership. This one enables you to well-being. We have apps that we promote. Maybe they are not ours, but since the technology is there, we tell people this is how healthy eating is. This is how you can be checking your calories and your blood pressure and all that. So all that is what we are embracing. The purpose of it is, can we get the best potential in you? Thank you.
Can I borrow a minute on that? Because I know we integrate our career services with the Kenya Association of Professional Counselors. And I know because they are in the house and they are able to offer these counseling services even today. I would like them to stand and wave so that these people can know where you are, so that when they come to the booth, they know that you are really a counselor. You can stand, Mike and your team, and we have more there. Please visit them. Students, si mnakuanga na stress? Isri, mko na stress? Ziko? So visit them. I know students have a lot of pressure and stress to achieve goals that their parents failed to achieve. By then my parent failed to be an accountant, so he made me an accountant. Then me, I'll force my son to be a doctor, which I wanted. Then the son wanted an IT, he will force the son to be an IT person. This is something that we can break this cycle. Because I know these are Gen Z, and Gen Z, they are looking for something that a culturally competent employer. That's why you are here. They want to realize, are you culturally, how is your culture as an employer? Then they are looking for competent wages. Of course, they want to earn good money. Believe me, you. Am I talking on your behalf? Do you want good money? Then they want something which we are calling mentorship. And this is what is lacking. 4 years you are in high school, you have never been given a mentor, you have never even attained like 5 hours of mentorship for 4 years. Then here we are telling them that you need a mentor. We are not telling them, where is this mentor? Is it on YouTube, Google? I mean, where is this mentor, by the way? If you want to be a footballer, where is this mentor? If you want to be a software developer, where is this mentor? It's a challenge because I'm with this student. Unfortunately, I've not gone to these schools, but I'm with students every day of my life. So I know whatever we are talking here, they say that is theory, which is not practical because it's not backed by science and it's not backed by practicability. So they want practical experiences. Tell them that you can provide 10 mentors for the one school. They will understand that language better. Provide these sessions. Tell them from here, they can see you in their schools. They can see you in their churches. They can add you in their WhatsApp group. Because these students don't have a problem. The problem is their parents. True? The parents who are Gen X. Gen X believes that you have to work in one company, you have to go to an office, you have to have a title, and it must be hung outside the office so that people can believe you are coming to see the CEO. Yeah? So what we are doing with them is we want to break the gap and tell the parents we are in a hybrid and remote culture that's coming up. So can we create that culture of you are responsible, you are disciplined, you will not get, how do you reach out mental health issue if I'm working on a remote job? I'm working with a company in the US from home. So I have to create a flexible mentality that I can be able to visit maybe a gym, I can be able to visit a hospital. But then let me ask you this question, which I ask everyone. When you are sick, you go to the hospital. When you want food, you go to the dining hall, you go to the cafeteria. When you want knowledge, you go to school. When you want advice on career, where are you supposed to go? Is in Kenya. This is in Kenya. When you want career advice, you are a counselor, a psychologist. Because people believe you are not in your right senses if you cannot understand the careers that we want you to push. I can see you are smiling because maybe you are one of the pushed people. And I'm happy because every one of us seated here did a wrong course. I listened very carefully. Everyone did a long course, then we did something we call panel beating. Yeah, we did panel beating so that we can do our right course. Let me give a synopsis of what I wanted to do. All my life and my parents knew. Until Form 4, I wanted to be a Catholic priest. But nobody believed that that's a job. So they pushed me to KU. Go to KU. After 4 years, then we can see whether you can join the military and become, I think, their chaplain. This happened. I saw a girl saw me.
Thank you. Okay, so I want to bring this back to Mariana. And we've talked about individuals becoming adaptable, individuals being resourceful, but now from an organization's perspective, and Brian as well, you can weigh in on this. How do you, in your company, how do you remain adaptable? How do you remain resourceful, especially with this trend of needing your employees to upskill, needing the people around you to understand the kind of changes that are happening in the world today?
Okay. So I think the main thing is that there's a very big push on upskilling and reskilling individuals, and it's not about to stop, but of course right now it's on a very high trajectory, and there's no pause to it. Applying it into the organization I work for, every so often we're either installing new softwares or having to go through trainings just to keep up to date with what's the latest version, what's the latest model. So there is a push that's coming also from the employer side, but also there needs to be an environment where then employers are fostering this. One, through creating those flexible work schedules where individuals can also invest in this training. And we have a culture in McKinsey called No Meeting Wednesdays, meaning you cannot block a Zoom meeting, an in-person meeting, anything in my calendar on Wednesdays. And so as I navigate maybe the tasks I have to do, I can also then take that time to complete some of the trainings because some of them require several hours. Now, there's been a big investment, of course, from the employer to invest a lot in the learning and development department because then all this also have financial implications. So I may not say the way we're doing it would work for everyone, but the reality is there are also a lot of free resources that are available online that someone can challenge themselves in whichever space they are in if the employer is not investing in it, just to ensure that you as an individual, you continuously upskill yourself so that you remain marketable or relevant in the marketplace. So there are e-learning programs, there are physical trainings where you're able to have someone, an expert within a particular space, be brought into the workplace and take you through a series of workshops. But in this AI generation, we are also adopting the use of AI in McKinsey, even in recruiting. We have our own internal AI bot called Lily, and it's almost similar to ChatGPT, but then now tailored in-house just for data and other security-related regulations. So I think with that, it's just understanding we cannot run away from the fact that, yes, AI is here, it's here to stay. How do we adopt and remain relevant in the marketplace? So some take advantage of organizations, are investing in this, are equipping the people, are evolving. And if for any reason you're not in that space, you go out there and do the research online and take advantage of free courses. Don't just say, oh, they're not offering it here. There's a lot that's also accessible online.
Thank you so much for sharing. At Teach for Kenya, I think three things that we try and do as much as possible is one of our value that we believe in is continuous learning. We believe learning never stops. Just because you are an expert at a particular thing, that doesn't mean there is nothing new that you can't learn. So every month, for the fellows we recruit to develop their capacity as leaders, in addition to the initial training that we offer them, we are always doing continuous learning. So this can be based on what is trending. Let's say, for example, a lot of the training you've been doing in the last few months has been on emotional intelligence and how can you promote well-being in the workspace. So continuous learning is one. We also encourage a lot of peer-to-peer learning. We belong to a global network, so sometimes we have in-person trainings where other people who are doing a similar program to the work that you're doing, we share either virtually or in-person training, where we get to share our experiences, our challenges, and we get to learn from each other how we're navigating through that. The other thing that we do is we are constantly, in our organization, it's almost synonymous. You'll always find someone asking you, what is your why? You know, why are you doing this? Why are you putting your time and energy in doing this? What is your passion and motivation to do this particular thing? And the reason why we keep asking for this is not unless the vision is clear, then you can just be moving, in life without any sense of direction or any sense of purpose. So always connecting to your why. If your why is right, then the how and the what and the where will always fit in place. So if you know why are you really doing this, what is the impact? Like at our organization, our vision is that one day every Kenyan child will have access to quality education. So we're always asking ourselves, how can I contribute to make sure that this vision becomes a reality? Or how does my vision align with the organization's vision? And last but not least, we embrace a lot of data and decision making. We believe data tells us, so we are not moving or making decision based on, I feel this is how we should do things, I feel this is how we should operate, but always analyzing the data. This is what the data is telling us. We tried this is not working. So how can we change the way we are doing things? So we're always monitoring and doing evaluations to collect data, but we're also trying to make data-informed decision in the way we do things. I hope that answers you.
So thank you so much. Round of applause, please. Thank you so much to our entire panel. Very insightful, very impactful, very inspiring. I was taking notes. I hope you were too. Were you? So I want to open the floor up for a Q&A session, and then we can have parting shots from everyone. So if you have any questions, simply raise your hand and a microphone will come to you. There's one over there. Just maintain.
Good. Am I audible?
Yes.
Good day to everyone. My name is Stewart, and I'm a postgraduate student here. I've been listening to the panel, and I have 6 questions. One for each panelist. The first one goes to McKinsey, the representative of McKinsey. It's about skills gap and analysis. How can universities bridge this gap to ensure graduates are tech ready? The second question goes to...
Just a minute. Let me make sure. Let me make sure she's got it.
Okay.
Speaking. You've got it? Okay, continue.
The second question goes to the representative of Impact Africa. It's about entrepreneurship and innovation. So what can universities do to equip graduates with the necessary skills and mindset to become not just employees, but also innovators and potential founders of tech startups?
Got it? Proceed.
The third question goes to the representative of Teach for Kenya. It's about specialization versus adaptability. So should universities focus on producing graduates with very specific technical specializations, or is a broader skill set that allows for adaptability across different tech domains more valuable for future workforce? And the fourth question goes to central careers. It's about a technopolis ecosystem. So how can universities collaborate with a technopolis to build this ecosystem, and what role can graduates play in its development, for example, research partnerships or mentorship programs? The fifth question goes to Access Bank. It's about public-private partnerships. So what are some successful models of public-private partnerships between universities and companies that can be leveraged to prepare graduates for future needs? And the final question goes to Nestle. It's about continuous learning. How can universities equip graduates with the ability to continuously learn and adapt their skill sets to stay relevant in this dynamic environment? Thank you.
Thank you. So would you prefer to answer that first set and then we receive another set of questions, or we just get them all at once? Let's answer. Okay. So we start from this end.
Okay, I think my question was technical and versus adaptability. And I think it has to be a balance of both. Technical skills, or what we call hard skills, are still necessary in our day and age. We need universities to produce engineers who can actually build roads. But also we need engineers who are adaptable to incorporating technology in the way they are building those structures. So it needs to be a balance between the hard skills and also the critical thinking skills, so that you can be able to adapt to the way the workforce is. We can't all just be critical thinkers without hard skills. When you go to the hospital, you expect there to find a doctor who can treat malaria. He knows he has the hard skills to do that. But then also we want a doctor who can adapt when COVID happens again. How do we manage such a situation? So it has to be a balance of both. We can't give emphasis to one and disregard the other.
Okay, how I understood my question was what the universities are doing to maybe bridge the gap in the skills and analysis that's required for the marketplace. So, as McKinsey, we recruit both locally and internationally. So I do a lot of travel to a lot of these top universities. And a couple of months ago, I was at Harvard, and I really got to understand why Harvard is Harvard. And as much as I can say maybe we're long short from getting to where a lot of these Ivy League schools are, I think at the end of the day, we are equally as smart. It's just a structure of how maybe our system structures or curricula looks like. And the immediate solution I can see certain universities can adopt, and I've shared with a lot of the career services teams in the local universities I've visited, is that we need to create opportunities where there's continuous interaction between the employers and the students on a regular basis. Now, what this can look like would vary from department to department. Within McKinsey, we have a very growing appetite to hire data scientists, and we sponsor hackathons where we're able to spend week-long events on certain universities where we would want to hire these data scientists. And by the end of that week, it's a two-way beneficiary kind of environment, in that the students get to learn. Like from the experience, every experience is a learning opportunity. So even if you fail in the hackathon, you've kind of challenged yourself either on some coding gimmicks or something through the interaction of the players who will be on the ground. But in the same sense, you'd already be studying and understanding earlier on, this is what the employers are looking for. So maybe I need to go back to the drawing board and recalibrate and practice more so that by the next time they're here, I am now able to do X, Y, Z in a better way. Because then I think that readiness could be more on the application side of things and the early exposure to understand, yes, you're getting like the technical or hard skills or, you're attaining the knowledge, but how you're able to translate it in the workplace and ensure when you plug in, it's all systems go. Now, if it's for people who are in the arts department, it could be something as simple as role plays. So I enjoy doing role plays, and it could be something like, hey, assume I'm the interviewer, you are the interviewee, and then we flip it over. And that way, when people are able to give and receive feedback, but you're already able to put yourself in a space where, wow, that's what it will look like. That's how, someone will, really drill down my skills, my CV, and question everything that's there and how am I supposed to respond. So even if it's within sales and we're doing, let's say, a club or collaboration with people in marketing, it'll be maybe something like Nestle or any other consumer company coming and saying, sell to me this coffee. Or tell me why I should buy this coffee and not this one. Or tell me what you see about this brand and this other brand. And actually doing it on a day-to-day regular basis, either within the clubs you can set up or within the ways you can create partnerships with the employers to come every so often, maybe before people graduate. And through those events, some people could even get immediate offers on the ground because it's real time. If you have not visited our booth, I encourage you to do so. We decided to come up with a market sizing quiz because we want people to be able to understand when you come for the McKinsey interviews, these are some of the questions that will be presented to you. And for people who are trying it out, we are celebrating their effort, but we're already course correcting on the go so that they go back to the drawing board and they do better before the actual time when they need to do the formal interview process.
Thank you. So I think the question was around entrepreneurship and innovation and how universities can be able to incorporate that in learning so that we can ensure that we have more people who are going outside to become entrepreneurs and innovation driven. So for entrepreneurship and innovation driven individuals, I believe it's a bigger role than even the university. It's an ecosystem that we need to create so that I believe everyone here is a dreamer. But if you're in an ecosystem where you are always suffocated on you pushing your idea to the next level, it would never go anywhere. And so if, for example, we compare our ecosystem and the Silicon Valley, there's a high possibility that a student who maybe is in the Silicon Valley might end up being an entrepreneur, and it's simply because of the ecosystem. It's even beyond schools, but at our own level, what could we do to ensure that we are getting more entrepreneurs and we are getting people who are going to found companies or even becoming co-founders? And I think our approach of education, if we can embrace more on research, it could help a lot because every time you research a certain topic, a certain agenda, you get to unearth things that you could probably solve. And again, entrepreneurship or having an entrepreneurial mindset, again, is looking at where can you identify opportunities where others are not seeing. I'll give an example. There was a company that was founded some time back, and unfortunately it went down. It was called Kun Food. So the founder came to Kenya and tried to order something to eat, and the whole process did not please them. And so he decided to do something about it. And that's why I'm saying it's you as an individual looking at where can identify, where are these opportunities or where are the problems. If you experience a challenge in a process, go and ask yourself, what can I do and solve it? So I've said one way in which university can be able to help you is through the research. So wherever you are given an assignment on a research, go find the facts to the end and to the detail, and don't just present the findings, present solutions. And I think I started by saying, in the workplace, if you go and just present problems, the whole presentation is on problem, but no solution, I think the organization doesn't have a use for you. So it's learning how can you always identify solutions to problems, and how can you always look out for these opportunities. So I believe this is a framework that's already in place, because I have been in the Kenyan University, and there's always case study, and each lecture will always give a case study. But I think we can more emphasize on the research that we can always undertake. So I think the other thing I'm thinking is exposure. So those who have participated, for example, in this career fair, will learn a thing or two that they can be able to go and make a difference in their life. And it matters a lot. And wherever you're in long holidays, don't just look at staying at home. Even if it's not the year in which you're supposed to take your attachment, go out and seek opportunities, go out and spend more time in the real world and understand what's happening and how can I be a part of contributing to changing the world in general. Thank you.
Bring these different career people every week. This week we have police coming to talk to them. Next time we have the military. Next time we have the hospitality industry. Next time we have the university lecturers. Next time we have the bankers. They start creating what is it that I'm expecting. Because we are talking about instilling competencies. So we have to instill these competencies so that they can borrow from them. Now let me talk to the high schoolers, the senior schools. What are you supposed to be doing? You are in age of pre-career. Because you're almost ending up from where we say basic education is over. By the Form 4, after Form 4, you should be able to be employed. Because according to Kenyan curriculum development, basic education ends at Form 4. So meaning you have enough knowledge to join the military, to join the teaching fraternity. You can join any career that you want from there. At your own vocation, at your own TVET, at the university. So what are we supposed to be doing to these, the high schoolers? Like now they are supposed to have their subject based on science and artificial intelligence. But what do they do? I hate teacher so-and-so. I will not take that one. I like my friend who is choosing agriculture, and you are born in a place where you have never even farmed. So I'll pick that. Personally, I threw out agriculture because I was farming every day, every holiday. So I said, I know how to farm. I threw out history because I had a lot of stories from my grandmother, and I was throwing out all my A's. So I threw out 4 A's without realizing, oh my God, they'll make my class a subject. What did I do? I wanted to be known. So I chose 3 sciences. Add mathematics there. Add geography there. My friend, you are the most hardest person in the high school because of your own doing. But I never had even one day for 4 years, a career advisor, a mentor coach, even an exposure of what am I doing. I knew that if you threw subjects away, people would just know what you can do. So, to come now to the university, at first year, they could have been given me an opportunity maybe to change the course. Or maybe 1 week before we go to the lecture halls, can we be brought here and these people come here and talk to us as first years and tell us, you want to join this area? This is the problem that is there. But we have maybe vocation or career interest assessment or emotional intelligence that can be able to demonstrate your abilities. Then a panel is put where you can go to a booth and ask, can I get interpretation of this? Once they interpret to you, another booth is there where you can change your course. Because you are still in the university. So from there, you are able to choose it very wisely. Because what happens to those students who get scholarship? Their courses are changed the moment they run there. Because the moment you run there and they realize that you are not an actuarius and you need to go to social sciences, They put you there and they create opportunities and avenues for you. Like in the university, we should be having something we call work study program. Why are you waiting at that year to go to attachment? Can't you start it immediately? If there is an opportunity for you, like in the Open University, which is coming up, to work and study online, can you be able during the day? Like myself, I knew how to beat the system. So I went to evening classes, and all my 7 semesters, I was in different companies, doing attachment for 6 months. So by the time we are clearing campus, I had already an experience of more than 3 years. So it was easy for me to transition immediately to the job market because I have number for this HR, that one. And I'm reminding them, by the way, I'm clearing this day. So when we talk about even the mentors and our referees, by the way, the graduate who are clearing, your referees, when is the last time you spoke to them? Those guys you have written there, high school teacher. When is the last time they knew what are you doing and how far have you done? Or they will be called and the guys who will fail you. Because they will say that boy was not disciplined enough in high school. Your job is done. So what should we be doing at these different levels? And I'm happy for this career week. We should have the career weeks, the STEM week, so that these people know what is this called STEM. Because they are saying about data science. Some of these students don't know about the data science that we are talking about. So if you have a STEM week, then we call the organization that deal with the STEMs, and they're able to tell them, if you do this, this is the kind of a job that we can give you. Then we can have the community service week. When is the last time that this community of the university went to the market, Muduro, to clean, and understand where what the hawkers are suffering from at country bus? Let them go there, let them experience, because they'll be meeting them day in, day out. Then we can have inclusion and extension week. Let them be included in groups, in teams, in squads. What am I saying? An IT person will work in a company where there is a marketing and sales person, a finance person, a HR person. Can you form them into a team, tell them to do a business plan of a hypothetical business that they would want to work into? Let them present that as a case study so that when they go to the employer, they even have a backup. We are coming here as a team that can offer a solution. We have been able to work on it, so the IT guy will provide how the software would run. The HR will provide how many people would want to join this company. The salesperson is how do we price it? How do we scale it? The finance person will come into how do we find funds? Then they can go to Impact, they can go to McKinsey, and maybe present that we have this, and we have able people back in this app, and they're able to do this. Then, by the way, we have not left the high schoolers, because I'm seeing like I'm talking to the university. Let them have what we are calling experiential learning. When is the last time they went out of their way to just invite somebody who is already a clinical officer to come for biology lessons so that they can ask those critical questions? A medical practitioner, so that they can ask those relevant questions. Set a career week in those schools. Invite other schools. Let us have maybe even dress code. I've gone to some schools in Anyuki who are doing a whole dress code. If you want to be a chef, you'll be in a tent as a chef. There will be cookery items. You can cook samosas and all those during that day. If you want to be a military officer, you are in a military uniform, and the militaries will be there and you'll be marching with them, so that you start familiarizing yourself with this. Unfortunately, the squad that is coming up from grade 10, when you'll be having grade 10 in 2025, that squad will make even the university change how they approach things. Because you'll be brought someone who have been specializing for 3 years. From grade 10, 11, 12, they will even have a certificate when they are even grade 12. So I'm coming to first year in the university, but I know I'm an IT expert. Not only an IT expert, I'm a .NET at that level. So it means that the university has to keep on revolving and changing. And if the media are ready, I would want to, 1 minute, I show them the careers that are coming up, so that if we had a career center in every school, and we are able to give this, which I can give for free to schools which can provide career center, students are able to go to that career center and see which careers are coming up, which careers are slowly dying, so that we have to understand that there are careers that have evolved with time, there are the careers that are coming. You can see what is coming up from the forecast of the labor market, which we have borrowed from the World Economic Forum, because of the acceleration of technology and artificial intelligence, these students don't know about Internet of Things. They think that because you have data, that is enough Internet of Things, by the way. So some of them do not understand about distributed ledger technology and how it can help you. The fintech, the blockchain, the nanotubes. Who will tell them if we don't? So these ones are what we are now doing in schools. Instead of them just an empty, maybe computer lab, we put this around so that even the student can know their profile. Do you have the profile of a future job holder? So that they know what a future job holder will be looking at and what are the qualities that a future job holder should have. And we have been able to acquire this from the global perspective where people are doing it right. I am happy that McKinsey has been to Harvard. I wish you can take me along next time so that I can come and share something. Look at number 2, embracing change weekly revolution. Today you are here. By the moment you are coming here, you never knew the things that you are hearing now. So you have to embrace that change. You have to have a flexible mentality. You have to have a mentality of throw anything at me approach. That, yes, my mom was saying I can become a doctor. I've had IT earning better, and I'm good in that area. Can I start switching my mind and switching my parents so that they are also the major stakeholders? I think we need to change the mentality of the parents, especially the millennials and Gen X, because they are bringing students in the university with a conformed mentality. That my son is coming here to do BCom because I have an audit firm so that he can come and run that audit firm. But when you are put in the audit firm, I was not even born. So how can I become a heir or a healthy of something that I'm not even aware of? What about mine? To the students here, you have ideas that are not recorded anywhere. So it becomes just an idea, just a dream. But if you record it somewhere, it becomes now to start having the formation stages. Personally, when I was finished in high school, I had 200 books with at least 80 ideas. And that's what the employers want to hear. Which ideas do you have that can transform us to the next stage? I hope I've taken much time and I've said the truth.
We offer, I think we are consumers of the product of university. So we normally have partnership with them. They normally give us interns. And some of these interns are the ones who have given the best ideas in the financial institution. Because for us, what basically we are after is, can we give a solution to consumers in the financial sector in the best way possible, and also be inclusive that we don't leave everyone. At university have been one of our best resources. One, in terms of generating the ideas, whereby they come for internship, they come for employment, and they're able to give us, and also to give a different reflection. They also give us issue of data. They enables us to understand, we want to bank the future. What do you need to be ready, and what are the future generations' needs in terms of financial space? So that's an area that we partner with them. One, to understand the future of banking, and also to understand which technology. Most of them are technology savvy. So as a result of it, we have been able to embrace them, and they have given us ideas, and that's why you have seen that nearly every institution, ours inclusive, we are recognizing being on the digital space is key for digital inclusion as well as digital solution. So the public-private partnership is very key for us. Currently, we also have issues like global warming and also the green energy, which the banks are coming to play. And if you look at both the ideas that are coming up, they are coming from major university because they are able to do the data analytics. They have enough resources to understand that if we continue this way, and as financial institution, access being one of them, we are able to now to come with issues like Green Board, that purposely to finance the research, and as well as to give us the direction on policies that the banks, that the governments should take. So as we speak on public-private partnership, mostly it's about, one, the talent, and I think you have seen various banks or various financial institutions have come to play in terms of content. Like in Access, I think you saw there was a marathon that was done in Nigeria, which is our parent bank. The reason behind it is, can we bring about that talent? And mostly it was visiting it was more geared to university that have PE as part of their major careers. So most of these things are coming into play. For the reason behind it is the talent we develop in terms of either scholarships, in terms of knowing our skills, and also in terms of financial inclusion. I think there was a week on financial matters that was in high schools. And I was supposed to go to Isili, but I don't know what happened. Maybe next time I'll be part of your panel. So those are things that the banks are doing, the same thing that they are doing to the financial. That's why I'm here, so that we can have that public-private partnership and the impact to the future generation. So we give you the opportunity in terms of employment, as well as we give you the opportunity whereby you have the skills in technology and everything. We can partner with you and maybe launch an app, which will be part of what will develop the future of the nation. Thank you.
So thank you, Stuart, for that question. For the question you asked me, which I'm assuming is about continuous learning. That's what you talked about. So continuous learning and how the university can be able to sort of foster a culture around continuous learning. There's something, sorry, I've forgotten your name. Samuel, okay. So there's something Samuel said in the midst of this conversation. He talked about first a growth mindset, yeah? So first, we need to look intrinsically. Before we even go to the university, before we go to the high schools, we need to look intrinsically. Do we have a growth mindset, right? So are we, because the reality is we are in a space where we are continuously learning every day. Even from this panel, to be very honest, I have learned, a couple of things from this panel that I did not know before. So you need to be able to create a culture of continuous learning for yourself intrinsically, and then I would also urge the university, so through Naomi and the Careers Office, to also build an environment where the students feel like learning is key for them and continuous development, right? So that's the first element. Secondly, because your question was very geared towards what would the university do, because I was talking about intrinsic. But even for the university, for example, there can be, and you talked about an app right now. So he's talked about the ability of access and maybe University of Nairobi coming up with an app. And now that we're embracing IT, is that something that, can we have an e-learning system? We probably already have an e-learning system, but is on the phone. Nowadays we are moving around with phones, right? So is it something that we can be able to invest in that makes learning part of life? Not that I need to be seated at a laptop or at a desktop to have learning going on or to build myself as an individual. So then maybe that's also another thought process. So the infrastructure investment in that. Then my last point, really, so in the learning and development space, so my colleagues who are in the learning and development space, we normally say within learning and development, we have what we call 70, 20, and 10. Yeah, so and 70 talks about experiential learning, which Muraya talked about. 20% captures coaching, talks about mentoring, and then 10% is in-class sessions. So 70, which is experiential learning, 20, which is coaching, and then 10%, which is in-class. The thought process behind this is that you will also retain 70% of the things you learn experientially. So let me use an example of Maria. I'm hoping these are journalism students, I hope. So I will assume there's a club or something like that, like a journalism club or communications club. And you're able to learn experientially. So you're doing the actual work, yeah? You're moderating a panel. Then you're gonna get notes, you're gonna get feedback, right? That is you learning, that is continuous improvement, that is continuous learning, 70%. And the gentleman there with the camera and the lady as well. So that's experiential. Then you move to 20%. We've talked a lot about coaching and mentoring. So again, through the careers office, I'm hoping, again, sorry, I don't know too much about University of Nairobi, but I'm hoping that there is the element of coaching and mentoring, and not just tick the box, because I think you talked about 5 hours of coaching. In my previous university, it was mandatory. But making it mandatory does not mean it is going to be effective. But how are you able to build that culture where I can actually be mentored about something that I'm interested in? Then 10%. So obviously the 10% is the in-class sessions, because at the end of the day, you're in an institution of learning to develop your skills and to learn something new. So I hope that answers your question, Stuart. Thank you.
Thank you. That was good feedback from all of you. I will take 2 more questions from the high school students, specifically high school. There's one hand there. Let's start with you. The microphone. And the gentleman in glasses. Okay. Where's the microphone?
I'm Daniela from St. Mary's School, Runda. This is to all the panelists, Ms. Mwangangi, the panelist from the bank, Mr. Muraya, Mr. Samuel, Ms. Mariana, and Mr. Bosire. So I feel you should expound a bit more on your experiences. At that point, you realized you followed the wrong path, made the wrong career choice, and with the feeling that it did not suit you. How did you feel? And what are the strategies you put across to start over? And after choosing the different courses, why did you settle on it and not for any other? Yes.
I think to save on time, I'll have Mariana answer that specific one. Thank you. And the gentleman over there? On the other side. Please raise your hand so that they can find you. Okay.
Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Ian from Dama Crest group of schools. And my question cuts across the whole panelist. And it's simply, okay, I have 2 questions. One, what is the one thing that keeps you going? And secondly, how did you come to a point of self-awareness and you were sure of what you wanted to do in life? Thanks.
Maybe someone wants to. Is there someone who wants to pick the question? You do it? Okay. And just to be gracious, I will give one last question from the high school students. There was a lady who had her hand up.
Hi everyone, I'm Monique from Democracy Group of Schools, and there was a point in time where the third panelist said that the one thing in common between all the panelists that you ended up in wrong career choices. So my question for you is, at what point did you realize that your preference had changed and that you no longer wish to pursue that career? And how are you sure, how are you sure that you didn't make the wrong decision and that it wasn't out of impulse, but that was really what was meant for you? Thank you.
I feel like that's the same question you're answering. So, okay, you both handle it. Okay. Where wants to start?
Okay. I don't know what would be the right word, but I wouldn't say that I regret the choice of doing computer science, and I don't think any other person would regret the experiences or the learnings they obtained in whatever course they did. Because at the end of the day, there are skills that you acquire through the different subjects that you do or courses that you do that will still be transferable within any industry. So fortunately, even right now, while people are trying to gain digital literacy and understand how to use certain tools, I have an advantage or a better advantage just based on my background. And I'd assume even within nursing, and I was in Chiromo campus, so it'd be a lot with medics and all that. There's a lot of like resilience and tenacity you have to have as a doctor or someone within that high pressure, stressful environment. And those skills that you acquire or develop over time would still help you, not in the technical aspects because you're venturing out, but you'll be able to adopt and apply them differently in the space where you're planted. So that's just to say that take everything as it comes, give your very best for the time or for the process that you're still learning whatever you're learning, because it will still help you in whatever space you're planted. Now, at what point did I realize? It was within my first job or my first employment after graduating, and I was like, this is not just for me. And you'd understand, I guess, within the tech space, and given I was a programmer, you have little to no human interaction. The hours are long. The experiences are rewarding when things work, and you develop things that are great, that are renowned. I remember actually even for my final year project, Nokia came to school and they sponsored some of us to codify games that teach kids how to do math with the use of shapes, objects in a very visual manner. That project stressed me because to some extent you also needed to go and show the application in schools and sit in classrooms with kids and get them to play the game and test your hypothesis. But it's through the experiences I got to see in the learning space and in the teaching space, so in the kind of people space, I'd like to call it, because teachers and pupils interact a lot, that I understood my passion for teaching, my passion for empowering people. And so that gravitated into me wanting to know, when this first job didn't work, where can I be in a space where I transmit knowledge or empower people or, develop talent and all that. And I made it a purpose to understand what roles exist that can help me with this. And so before going into HR, I actually pivoted into market research. And within market research, there's still a lot of human interaction, and you gather data, gather statistics, and then went into HR. But how I was able to do it was through networks. Because other than the short courses I needed someone to believe in me and to give me the opportunity and the platform. But also, even when they did, it's because I had something to show for it. I had a positive track record in everything I had done. I made sure I was top of class when I was in university. I made sure I did what I needed to do in the opportunities or the jobs I did in between. Because also people will hire you not for also just what you show, but who you are as a person. Are you reliable, which is shown in your CV? Can you learn? Are you adaptable? I had already moved across different ventures, so that shows how agile I am. And then if you don't even have that opportunity for someone to put in a word for you, also your CVs, that people have advised, I'm like, if it's the skill that you want to emphasize and amplify, then show more of it in your CV. I still doubt and I don't understand how people, have one CV for all the jobs they want to apply to. You have to tailor things to the objective you want to have. So even within HR, I had to tailor things around things I've done that would be relatable to that environment. So let me just keep it brief. I know I've talked a lot, but that's it.
Yes, I think mine was a bit rough. Having been the first guy in a family of 5 to have a degree, and the only foreseeable degree, then you tell people that you are in the wrong career, and in the village you are the person who is spokesman, you are the treasurer of every circle and every club. So for me, I realized, just like she's saying, after maybe working with my first employer for 2 years, I realized I am sociable, I'm a risk taker, and I need to interact with people. But in my field as an accountant, you don't interact with people, you interact with figures. So before mental health crept in, and this will come to every person if this advice you don't take it seriously. At midlife crisis, 35 to 40 years, the Lord has a way of waking you up. Even it's in the Bible in 2 Timothy 1, 6 and 7, where Paul was telling his younger brother, Timothy, that come here, I stir up the gift of God which has been deposited in you by rain of my hands. That's why we have a lot of churches here, laying people's hands to try and navigate your career. Buying handkerchief so that you can change your destiny and purpose. It will not work. Because if you take the wrong train, walking along the corridor in the opposite direction will not change the destiny or destination. So personally what I did, I started navigating across the cross departments. Yeah? So I started moving from finance and majoring it with operations. So I'm working partly as a finance, partly as an assistant GM. So I'm working with operation with people, I'm in those meetings making decisions, and yet I'm handling the finance department. My next transition, I transition now to work as helping in product development and also handling still finance. So what we are saying is, this degree, first degree, will form a foundation for you. So you create the skills that can be relatable and can help you migrate. But now, again, I wanted now to know exactly where do I fit. So that's how the issue of psychometric assessment came in. So I realized there is a way that I can get my whole report of whom I am, as I can be able to do very well. So when I did my first psychometric assessment, it was on emotional intelligence. Then I was like, wow. So this is why I get irritated with people, and this is how I can deal with them. This is how I get my self-control, self-awareness, public relations. Once I realized that, I now moved to the other areas of psychometric. And I started now doing soft skill and certifications and take me there. So you have to continue learning. And when you say continuous learning, it's learn a small certificate. Maybe my mic is misbehaving, I don't know. You do a small certificate course that maybe it's 3-4 months, so that you can employ it to the current job that you are doing, and you're able to get satisfied easily and maybe navigate to where you want. So my, what I would say, my transition came in the year 2020. When we are all having COVID, we are at home, then I realized, so even having these competencies, I can also go hungry in the evening. So what we did is, I started studying that time on the area of psychometric, on the area of psychology, so that I can understand human behavior and the intersection with the economy. So by that, I was able now to come out, and because I'm a finance person, I was able now to do my plan, to do my research, and know how do I launch my product. Thanks God that CBC was starting then, it was in hype, and I was able now to navigate in that field where nobody else could see the opportunity. And I can tell you, if you're going to entrepreneurship thinking it's a quick gain, please don't go. Because entrepreneurs, you get paid last. After you have paid your employees, your expenses, your suppliers, you are the guy who gets paid last through dividends, or what remains. If it doesn't remain, you are the guy now to put in the effort. So keep on realizing, and for the high schoolers, you are in a stage that you don't want to make this mistake. That's why this forum is happening now. So we don't want to keep on doing the same thing. Taking guys in the wrong courses, then we panel beat, because where are we getting all these resources and time and money? It means I could have invested somewhere else. Like the way he's saying, I can invest in somewhere, I be getting money annually or regularly. So do the right thing when the time is now. And do not do minor things on major time. And major things on minor time. What do I mean by this? You are spending a lot of your time trying to sleep during preps, instead of you forming discussion groups so that you can discuss, and that maybe evaporates. At home, you know you want to be a lawyer. Have you ever gone to an office of a lawyer and saying, I want to attach here for 1 month when we have the holidays? No. So, in short, kwa lugha ya mtaa ni kujituma. Jitume.
Okay, thank you so much. I think the question was, what is one thing that keeps you going? So to answer that is, for me, is changing people's lives. If I create an impact positively to one person. I think that's what keeps me going. This one from the context of the banking. Maybe someone may question, how do you do it? To bring it relevant, in the banking we have three aspects. One is the shareholder. There's someone who came up with access. Okay, God rest his peace. He went to the Lord this year. He had a dream. And that dream, he wanted it to be the world most respected African bank. How do I impact on it? Is by going the policies and pushing that dream to reality. Two, I have the stakeholders. The stakeholders are the customers that we have. How do I impact on them? When your parent come and they want a loan, am I able to solution them? I said that there's a dream of her kid or her child. They can go to school and they learn. When you have a school and they want a school bus that will be in a position to take the kids from point A to point B, can I be a solution to that school so that that school can go for a science congress or a science symposium and they are impacted? If it's a university, can I give it a solution that we can build its data lab? So giving that solution, changing that life of that kid or that aspiration drives me. The other one is the employees. For me, I'm lucky I'm a manager. I think 50% of my team are a young team. How can I bring the best out of the people who report under me? So the inherent thing is, can I change a life of an individual at any aspect that I have in the banking? And that one has given me the best satisfaction. Maybe most of us, we want to be driven by money. That's the background I can tell you. But the funny thing, I have been in financial institutions, and some of us, we normally say, money is a working tool. So most of the times, the money you're interacting with is your working tool. What is critical is, what does the impact do to you? Well, this one is what I would like to request all of you. Have your own introgressive thinking. Is it money that is driving you? And that's why you realize some of, maybe like I don't want to quote someone, but most of the athletes who have gotten quite a lot of money, or maybe singers who have got fame, they got the money they wanted, but they find they are hollow because they don't have the inherent driver on what makes them going. So even you yourself, think about yourself and think what is one thing besides the money. The funny thing is, if you change people's lives, I can tell you for sure it will be rewarding financially. It will also be rewarding in your personal lives. If you work on yourself as, maybe you are the brightest student in the class, and you are trying to make others come to par, maybe you are good in chemistry, you realize you become a teacher, and the teacher is always the best. So those are the simple things that keep one going. And for me, that is one thing I'll answer to him. If I change your life, I'll feel better. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think we have all had a very interesting experience, inspirational. We've learned so much. I was taking so many notes. I have learned so much from all of you. And now as we wrap up, I would like to request that you give us a parting shot, very brief in the interest of time. Yeah, and then we proceed to the next section of the program. So we start and then we come this way.
Okay. So first of all, thank you very much for having us here, as well to the students for taking the time to have this discussion with us. Naomi and the Career Services, thank you very much. As a parting shot, and it's something that Bosire mentioned, he talked about always starting with a why. Even when you're thinking about your vision, even when you're thinking about your goals, start with a why. I think there's actually a book by Simon Sinek called Start with a Why. So always think about that. Why are you driven to do something? Why? I mean, and it's constantly, especially if you're in the technical space, they tell you to ask why. When by the time you get to the fifth why, you'll probably have an answer. So always start with a why. Throughout your journey, personal, professional, start with a why. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think I appreciate the university, the thoughts, the panelists who have offered their time, and also my comrades as well as the colleagues. For me, my part in short is very simple. It may deviate from what I have spoken, but being on the generation that social media is part of it, always remember, internet never forgets. And one day you may meet her and she is looking at your CV, but at that point, internet remembers you posted something that did reflect your blood. So for me, don't post anything, access the right information and work on it. Thank you.
Mine is, there is no going without the way. There is no knowing without the truth. And tough times create strong men. Strong men create easy times. Easy times create weak men. Weak men create disaster. So ask yourself, are you in a tough time? Are you the easy man? Or are you the tough guys that will create those men? That's words from the Sheikh of Dubai when he was asked, what is the future of the generation? He said, my grandson will have to ride a camel, which is very true. Because the generation we are having, they have had everything on a silver platter. You have never been sent home for school fees. You have never gone hungry. You are born with shoes at day one. You are born in a prestigious hospital. So you believe everything will treat you fairly. The world is not fair. You have to fight for your position. The position you apply in a company, one position, you'll be like 50 people who have been shortlisted, if I'm not wrong. 10 will be called for the interview. Ask yourself, when that time comes and the employer asks you, why should I hire you? What will you put on the table?
Thank you. I think I will emphasize on Simon Sinek. You have identified your why, but the next thing is what and how. So what do you need to do to get to, or to solve the first question that you had, why, and how will it impact your life, and how will it impact even the community? And so we have spoken a lot, and the hardest challenge that comes after this is, if you're in school, you'll go and do a timetable, you'll start doing or prepping a lot of, this is what I need to do, but eventually we don't do it. And the simplest way to do this is through atomic habits. If you want to go to point B, you don't have to do big chunks of things. You just need to break it down to the very small thing that you can do. You can decide, before I drink a cup of water, I need to recite a poem. If you are looking at improving your speaking skills or communication skills, right? So every time you do this, it will eventually become a habit. And so my final words will be, if you commit yourself to improve 1% daily, by the end of the year, you'll be 37 times better than when you are starting. So it's up to you.
Mine is never stop learning, and I think he's alluded to it a bit. And I know a lot of what we've spoken about today is more on the professional side of things or academic side of things, but make sure you learn and develop and grow every day, be it spiritually, be it emotionally, be it physically, be it if you're in school through the learnings that your teachers are giving you, even in university, but even for the ones who are going to the workplace. Learn from people, learn from your own tools, resources, learn from reading the word if you're a spiritual person, learn from experiences, good or bad. There'll be a lot of mistakes you will make. We've not gotten here like through a very easy road. There'll be a lot of mistakes and hurdles, but the only way you're able to bounce back if you're grounded. And so I'm trying to summarize how to be grounded by making sure you equip yourself in each and every part and element of what defines you as a human being.
The danger of coming last is you start repeating the good points. So in addition, I wanted to say that, but also in addition, two things. One, It will be unfair if as a recruiter I don't offer jobs. So if you are a young person in your final year of study and you're passionate about working with kids, Teach for Kenya is currently recruiting. Please visit our tent. We are looking for 100 young people who will help transform the next generation of leaders, giving them access to quality education. My parting shot is the greatest enemy of success is perfection. Don't wait the day that you are perfect for you to do something, but perfect as you go. Don't wait for the day that that CV is perfect and it has all those things before you submit that job. Submit it as it is, get rejections, perfect it as you go. So let's learn to do with good enough, but not entirely wait for the day we are the best, but perfect as you go. Thank you.
Let's have a better round of applause for our panelists, please. I still haven't felt it. A little more energy. Thank you so much. Sorry. Thank you so much for making time to be here, offering your wisdom, your knowledge, your experience to these young minds. I am sure we have all learned a thing or two. I would also like us to give a round of applause to the high school students. You'll give yourself a round of applause, and the university students gathered here today. And an even bigger round of applause to the Office of Career Services, led by Naomi. Everyone else who has been here, who has helped make this day an immense success, our media crew, our camera crew right here recording. Let's give them a big round of applause. Thank you so much for everyone who has made this event possible. So we want to move on to the next section of the program, and we have a little gift for our panelists just to say thank you for this. Money and words can't explain how much impact you've caused in this room. So we have a little reward. I think Naomi will take over from here.
Good afternoon. I know you've been sitting for quite some time. Let's all stand up and give a big round of applause to our panelists and our moderator. Thank you so much. You can have your seats. So to our great panelists, thank you for allowing us to use you as our resource persons for today. I know it has been of benefit. The insights you've given have been of benefit to our students and even our high school students. As you slowly transition from learning to earning to our students, and for the high school students as you choose your careers that you want to invest in and eventually transition to the job market. So at this point, I just want to give a small token of appreciation from our office for accepting our call and coming today. And I believe we will continue having these conversations. When I call on you next time, please come again and give back to our youth and our young generation. So I will start off. Esther Nekesa from Corporate Affairs will help me to hand over the gifts. I will start with Brian. Nekesa, you can hand over to Brian. So I'll help Nekesa in doing this. Maria, you can call our panelists one by one.
Mariana. Naomi will hand over the gift to Mariana. Samuel, can step forward. Samurai, join us. Thank you. And finally, Madam Caroline. Great. So I think now we'll have the group photo.
Yes, thank you so much. Pauline, please come over. She's one of our recent graduates. She's going to give a vote of thanks. Yes. All right, we have a quick one from Nestle. They have something for you before the vote of thanks.
Yeah, so in the spirit of getting a bit more energy from this room, as you can see, we are talking about Changamkia, your potential. So please welcome to our booth. We carried enough coffee, and it's Nescafe, so enough coffee for everyone to, enjoy the day. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So make sure you go make a round through all the booths and see what our partners have in store for us, okay? So come, Pauline, for the vote of thanks.
Hi, everybody. Hi. So to our panelists, thank you so much for your insights. We've loved the talks, the inspiration, and most importantly, I saw a meme today morning, and it said 4 out of 5 young people want to, go abroad. So someone in the comment section said, "What's wrong with the one person?" You get, like, why does everyone want to go abroad and then nobody's left here? So also, they've emphasized the need for you to know what you're doing, do everything, yada, 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 but at the end of the day, be ready. A student can never be ready for the teacher to arrive till him or her is able to actually, get and understand what the teacher says. So as you leave and have your seats, we'd like to appreciate you. A round of applause to our panelists, guys. A round of applause, guys. Thank you so much, and we'll now I'll pray, and then we can all visit the booth over there, and we can call it a day, right? Let's stand up. Right, let's pray. Lord Father, we thank you for the day. We thank you for the gift of life. We thank you for the gift of one another. And I pray that, Lord God, whatever we've discussed over here, that, Lord God, you're going to help us understand, and may it be to the benefit of our future and everyone that we interact with as we go forth and do whatever we have left in store for during the day. I pray that, Lord Jesus, you're going to direct our steps. And above all, may your will be done in our lives. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you.
So let's have our seats. I forgot one thing. We have something for all of our students and the high school and our university students. And we will go through that back door. We have something for you to eat. So nobody should exit from here. Let's all line up and go out through the back door. I know we have one partner who had something quick to say.
Okay, this one goes to those who are leaving the university. I think in Access Bank, if you have been checking our X-Huddle. Most of the times we advertise for internships, and also we advertise for various roles. We have also various training that go for executive training. So be checking on that. We don't know, maybe we'll meet with you when I'm doing the interview, and you can remind me that I presented something, and maybe it will be of help. Thank you.
All right, so thank you so much, everyone. We can all line up there. Arnold, please come take a group photo with our partners here. Or we stand here. All right.
UNC TV, empowering you.